What you're looking at is urbanization, or at least the consequences of it. Big factories as your neighbors. Here in Kobe, it's a beautiful city, but they suffer from pollution problems like so many cities do. You got 15 factories in this small area, and you add to that the exhaust from cars, trucks, and buses, and you get that smog that hangs over so many cities. The problem is the air is just too dirty to breathe. And here's the most frightening part. You're likely to not even notice it. Your body becomes accustomed to this after just 4 days of breathing it in. These tiny particles are smaller than a strand of hair and inhaled almost like a gas. It constricts the muscles around the airways. Think of it like breathing through a straw. All of it can impair your airway and cause increases in blood pressure, heart attack risk, and the chance of heart disease. You may think health impacts from breathing in toxic air would take years to develop, but that's just not the case. On days when you have particularly bad pollution in cities, they say emergency room visits spike over the next 24 hours. And it's not just adults that are at risk either. There are studies that show that babies are being born pre-polluted with more than 230 chemicals in the system at the time of their birth. Truth is, progress is starting to be made. In fact, there are places in China that I visited where they're starting to move the coal-fired power plants outside the big urban areas into more rural areas where fewer people are around. And also in New York, there are new laws on idling of buses and trucks. Of course, there are things we can all do to try and make our lives a little bit better. For example, driving less, using public transportation such as this, that can really help. Also keeping in mind when pollution is at its worst. Hot days are going to be worse. Also during the midday. If you're exercising at these times, you're taking in 7 to 10 times as much air and 7 to 10 times as much pollution as well. And here's something else that may surprise you. Indoor air quality can often be worse than outdoor air quality, sometimes 50% worse. So open a window, or at least make sure you have good ventilation. Look, urbanization is here to stay, no question about it. But these are some tips for individuals and for society to try and make the beautiful city that you live in a safe and healthy one as well.